Hey, zombie enthusiasts. Welcome back to the Drunken Zombies Podcast, your daily dose of undead mayhem. I'm Adrian, your host.
And I'm Julia, your resident zombie expert.
We're thrilled you're joining us for this episode where we explore a brand new zombie story together.
That's right.
Each day on the Drunken Zombies Podcast, we crack open a new tale of the undead, looking for those juicy bits of brain-chomping goodness that'll keep you coming back for more.
Yeah.
So if you're ready for a story that blends small-town charm with the chilling thrill of a zombie apocalypse, buckle up.
Right.
And don't forget to rate and follow us for more episodes of the Drunken Zombies Podcast.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine Maplewood, a quaint little town where life moves at a slower pace. The annual Pumpkin Festival is the talk of the town.
Sounds idyllic.
It is, until the peace is shattered by, you guessed it, a zombie outbreak. Our protagonist, Officer Jake Carter, a cop who thrives on routine, finds his world turned upside down. And guess who ends up facing the first zombie?
It's not Jake, is it?
Nope. It's his mom, Linda Carter. She's at the old Miller place when the dead start rising, armed with nothing but a garden hoe and that mom look that can stop a toddler in their tracks.
Right-o.
And she takes down the first zombie with a garden hoe. What does this tell us about the story's tone right from the start?
I think it sets up a blend of horror and humor right off the bat. You've got the classic zombie threat, but the image of a mom dispatching the undead with a garden tool is inherently funny. It hints that the story won't take itself too seriously, which can be a refreshing take on a genre that can often be quite grim.
Exactly. So we have this unlikely duo, a cop who follows the rules, and his mom who clearly makes her own, becoming Maplewood's first line of defense.
A cop and his overprotective mom versus zombies. That's an interesting dynamic.
It really is.
Yeah.
And their contrasting approaches, Jake's tactical knowledge versus Linda's, shall we say, unconventional methods, make for some entertaining and surprisingly effective zombie fighting strategies.
Definitely.
Can you give us an example? What's one of Linda's unconventional methods?
Well, there's this hilarious scene where she uses her book club meeting to trap a group of zombies. Talk about turning the tables. Who knew Jane Austen could be so deadly?
That's brilliant. I love how they're playing with expectations. You'd think a book club would be the least equipped to handle a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
But that's what makes this story so fun.
Absolutely.
So they're having some initial success. But what about the town as a whole? How do the other residents of Maplewood react to this sudden zombie invasion?
Well, at first there's the expected panic and chaos.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But then something interesting happens. Instead of succumbing to fear, the people of Maplewood rally together.
That's heartening. It's like a classic underdog story where ordinary people rise to the occasion.
Exactly. They band together, forming a community watch, barricading their homes, and sharing whatever resources they have left.
It really takes you back.
So their initial victories against the zombies aren't just due to Jake and Linda's efforts. It's a collective effort.
Absolutely. The story emphasizes the strength of community and the importance of working together in times of crisis. It suggests that even when facing something as terrifying as a zombie horde, human connection and cooperation can be powerful forces. Yeah.
Now, their early successes don't mean it's smooth sailing from there. Maplewood faces setbacks as the zombie onslaught intensifies.
Right.
You mentioned they come up with a plan to trap the zombies.
They do. It involves luring the undead to an old quarry and trapping them there. Sounds like a good plan on paper, right?
It does. It seems to play to Jake's strengths, tactical planning, and execution.
Uh-huh.
But as we know with zombie stories, things rarely go according to plan.
Right. And this is where the unpredictable nature of zombies really comes into play. The operation goes horribly wrong, highlighting the ever-present danger and the constant need to adapt.
What causes the plan to backfire?
Well, without giving too much away, let's just say the zombies prove to be more cunning and relentless than anticipated. And consequences are devastating for the survivors, both in terms of lives lost and the emotional toll it takes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It sounds like a turning point in the story.
It is. The failed plan leaves Maplewood reeling, questioning their ability to survive this nightmare. It's amidst this despair that Linda makes a startling discovery.
Remember how effective she was at handling the first zombie?
Yes. You're referring to her calming presence.
Exactly. It turns out some zombies react differently to her soothing voice. They seem less aggressive, almost drawn to her calmness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, so Linda's like a zombie whisperer? Is that a thing?
It's certainly a fascinating concept. The story doesn't explicitly call her that, but that's essentially what she becomes. This discovery throws a wrench into everything they thought they knew about zombies and opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So interesting.
How does this discovery change their approach to fighting the undead?
It completely changes their strategy. Instead of relying solely on force, they start incorporating empathy and understanding into their defense tactics.
So they're moving away from simply trying to kill the zombies.
Exactly. They're trying to connect with them to appeal to whatever remnants of humanity might still be lingering within those decaying shells.
It's a radical shift in thinking, especially in a genre where zombies are typically seen as mindless killing machines.
Right. And it raises some fascinating questions about the nature of consciousness, free will, and what it truly means to be human. If Linda can reach these zombies on some level, does that mean there's hope for their rehabilitation?
That's a pretty deep question for a zombie story.
But that's what makes this one stand out. It goes beyond the typical tropes of the genre and explores some really thought-provoking themes.
Now, while the survivors are adapting their tactics, let's not forget about the mastermind behind this outbreak, Dr. Finch.
Oh yes, the mad scientist who unleashed this zombie nightmare.
Finch is a fascinating character. He's driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire to control the forces of life and death. He sees himself as a visionary, a pioneer, who will usher in a new era.
Wow.
But he's also completely unhinged, willing to sacrifice countless lives in pursuit of his twisted ambitions.
Exactly. He's a classic example of the ends justify the means villain, and he becomes even more dangerous when he discovers Linda's influence over the zombies.
What does he do?
He tries to weaponize her calming presence, believing he can control the entire horde through her.
He's basically trying to turn empathy into a weapon.
Right. It's a chilling thought and a testament to Finch's utter lack of ethics.
Yeah.
He's so obsessed with control that he's willing to exploit even the most compassionate impulses for his own twisted purposes.
So what happens when he tries to control Linda and the zombies?
Well, it leads to an epic showdown at Finch's lab. Jake and the survivors are determined to rescue Linda and stop Finch, while the mad scientist is unleashing his most powerful creations, yet super zombies.
Super zombies. What makes them different?
They're faster, stronger, and more coordinated than the regular zombies. Finch has engineered them to be the ultimate weapon.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So the stakes are incredibly high.
They are. It's a battle for the fate of Maplewood and possibly even the world. And amidst all the chaos and carnage, Linda's influence over the zombies takes an unexpected turn.
What happens?
Her amplified empathy, instead of giving Finch control, creates a wave of confusion among the undead. They're drawn to her, but their aggression wanes. They're like moths to a flame, but they're not sure what to do once they reach the light.
So her compassion backfires on Finch.
Spectacularly. And it gives Jake and the survivors an opening to fight back.
So they defeat Finch and save Linda.
They do, but it's a hard-won victory. Maplewood is scarred, lives have been lost, and the zombie threat is far from over.
But Finch is gone, and Linda is safe.
That's what matters most. And in the aftermath, something truly remarkable happens.
What's that?
Linda's amplified empathy seems to have had a lasting impact on some of the zombies. They're no longer mindless monsters. There's a glimmer of awareness, a hint of their former selves.
So they're not just cured, but there's a chance they could regain some of their humanity.
That's the hope. And inspired by this possibility, Linda proposes a radical idea, a rehabilitation center for recovering zombies.
A zombie rehab. That's a bold move.
It is. But after everything they've been through, Maplewood is ready to embrace the impossible. They've seen firsthand that even in the face of unimaginable horror, there's still room for compassion and second chances.
So the story ends on a note of hope.
It does. It suggests that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure. Empathy can make a difference, and redemption might be possible, even for the undead.
That's a message we can all raise a glass to. And don't forget to rate and follow us for more episodes of the Drunken Zombies Podcast.
Yes, and until next time, zombie fans, stay safe out there and keep those brains hidden.
You never know when those cravings might come back.